Hello, and welcome to the first of our introductory onboarding videos for Workshop software. In today's session, what we're going to be discussing is the following features: navigation around Workshop software, the power of the search function, where to find the help guides and how to use them. We're going to do a brief note on integrating accounting systems with Workshop software and also integrating automotive suppliers with Workshop software as well. So, to get started, for navigation purposes, what you will find for admin users is on the left-hand side, you will find a whole menu bar. And this takes you into the various different elements of Workshop software, such as a booking diary, inspections, customers, vehicle tables, suppliers, your product table, how to manage your stock takes, very importantly, the business reporting out of Workshop software, how to manage and set up your employees, integrations between your accounting systems, automotive suppliers, and also marketing integrations, and also the settings which you will use basically at the beginning of setting up Workshop software, right? These are all the important things that you need to cover off before you can actually start using the system properly. And after that, you have various different actions such as sending reminders, the communication center, etc. Right? So if you click on any of these things, these menu items, it will bring you into the particular area that you're looking for. Right? The most common way for people to navigate around Workshop software on a day-to-day basis is to come into this plus sign over here in the top right quadrant. And in here, you can do most of the common functions for Workshop software, such as creating a booking for a customer, going straight into a customer invoice without doing a booking, taking a customer payment, creating a supplier stock order, entering a supplier invoice, and making a supplier payment, right? So we recommend that probably the easiest way for you to start using Workshop software is to come into this plus sign and start working from here. All right. What I'm going to do at the moment is just come in here and show you, for example, if I wanted to go into the customer table, right? Here I have a listing of all the customers that are customers of this workshop. As you can see, there's primary details, the customer's name, their mobile telephone number, their actual telephone number, etc. If I did the same thing for vehicles, right, I would have vehicle records, and here you can see the owner of the vehicle, you can see the registration number, the make and the model of the car, all right. If I wanted to edit that vehicle, for example, I could come in here and just open that up, and then I would have all the details on the vehicle itself, plus any invoices that have been created for that vehicle, any bookings that have been done for it, etc. All right. If I come back into the vehicle table for a moment, here I can actually go in and schedule a booking for that vehicle, or I could come in here and go straight into creating an invoice. The same applies to the customer table. If we come back here, I can edit the customer details in here, add a vehicle for that customer, create a booking, do an invoice, send them a text message if I'd like, or even send them an email if I'd prefer. If we come over into the supplier table, it's very, very much the same as the customer table. You have the supplier name, you have their location, phone number, their website, etc. And again, all the same details, right? The ability to edit, the ability to enter a supplier invoice. All right, come in here and have a look at create a stock order for the supplier. Sorry, create a supplier payment. Send that supplier an SMS message or an email. All right. If we go over into the products table, here we have the products, and as you can see, there's a listing of all of them. There's the item code, which is generally the item code supplied to you by the supplier, right, to identify that particular product. The description, which will show up on the invoice. You can actually go in and put in the branding for that particular product, see the retail price, see the cost price, and this will show you your inventory on hand for that particular product. All right. In terms of navigation, that is probably the two primary ways of moving around Workshop software that will give you the most benefit in the short term. All right. The next thing we're going to do is going to look at the search function. So once again, in the tables, all right, you can actually search, for example, for a customer, all right, and you can search up in here using this search field over here. All right, so if I came in and let's say I was looking for Oh, Ned Powell, for example. I can go first name, or I could go last name. All right. I could even generally try it with a mobile number as well. If I go 0451, all right, that will show me all of the mobile numbers that start with 0451, if that is sometimes an easier way for you to find your client. All right. That is the power of that particular search function. All right. You'll find the search function for each of the tables, right? You have it in suppliers, you have it in vehicles, right? With the vehicles, you can search for a vehicle by the make, you can search for it by the registration number, and also by the fleet code number if you happen to use fleet code numbers as identifiers for your vehicles. The same applies to the suppliers, but let's come over into the products as well, right? Now, products are very, very interesting because in quite a lot of instances, you may find that products have very, very similar names. All right. So if you're looking for a filter, for example, if I come in here, right? Oh, that's not finding me any filters. Hold on a sec. Right. If I come in here and I go 10W, right? You may have 10W. You may have more than 5 products that start with the first 3 characters 10W. All right. And if that were the case, the easiest way to find those products is to come into the actual table itself, all right? As opposed to using the general search function, which is a very, very powerful search function up at the top, all right? This search function here allows you to search anywhere and anything in Workshop software. But the thing we would like you to be aware of is it will only return you the first 5 records for that particular search function, all right? So if I came in here, I'm going to go back to the dashboard for a moment. And if I came in here and typed in 10W, right, I will see that I've got two 10Ws. But if I had more products than 5 that started with 10W, for example, all right, you're better off going and searching inside the product list itself, right? The same relates to customers. If I come in here and I type in 0451, all right, I will only get the first 4 or 5 records that start with 0451. If I had 10 of them, right, I would only see the first 5 using this search function, right? I would need to go into the customer table itself and find the 0451s. And again, yes, there are only 4 records, okay? But I think you get the general idea, right? If you're looking for a more specific search, go into the table itself. If you're looking for a generalized search, but you're searching for almost anything, then you can use the search bar up at the top. All right, that is how the search function works. Now, the next thing I'd like to do is I'd like to introduce you to the concept of the help guides, all right? Workshop software has a very, very comprehensive listing of all of the search functions or all of the help guides and resources for almost anything at all that relates to Workshop software. And you will always find that here in the question mark icon in the top right quadrant, right up in the top corner. It'll bring you a pop-up window, and in here you go to the help guides and resources, and you can start to search for the information that you're looking for. So for example, if I wanted to import data into Workshop software, I'd simply come in here and go import, okay? And any articles that relate to importing data, okay, will actually be in here, all right? So for example, here's the data migration guide, fixing data ready for importing. If I came into an accounting integration, if I type in integrations, or integrate. It'd be good if I could spell integrate. Then we'll have all kinds of various different articles in the help guides and resources relative to integration. So how does a Canadian and US QuickBooks integration work? How does the Xero integration work? How to integrate HSY? Anything with the word integrate in it, you will be able to find in this drop-down menu. And as you can see, you can navigate through it. All right. How to integrate Intuit QuickBooks, how do I integrate Workshop software with Navigator Pro, et cetera, et cetera. So the search function here is very, very powerful. If I was looking for something relative to credit notes, for example, or crediting, right? How to attach or avoid, how to detach and or avoid a credit, how to apply a customer or supplier credit, how to create a credit for a supplier invoice, et cetera, right? And there are many, many articles. There's hundreds of them, all right? So this will give you a very, very good grounding in almost anything that you need to know about with Workshop software. All right. And what we really, really highly recommend is that our user base really tries to look in here, all right, to find the information that they're looking for on a day-to-day basis when they're using the system, until you become very familiar with it. After which point you'll probably you need to use the user guides or help guides very much at all. The next thing I'd like to do is talk to you very, very briefly. All right, I'm going to close that window for a moment. Now, what I'd like to talk to you about very briefly is accounting integrations. One of the most important things that workshops try to do when they first get workshop software is to link it directly to the accounting system that they've been using on a regular basis, whether that be Xero or whether that be MYOB or QuickBooks, for example. All right, so the integrations are actually very, very easy to do. You come to the menu bar on the left-hand side, you click on integrations, and you go down into your accounting integrations. All right. So if I do that for a moment, let's say we're going to integrate with Xero, as a matter of fact. So we come in here. All right. Now, if I come in here and I go authorize Xero, and it would be the same thing for authorizing QuickBooks or MYOB. You always click on the green authorization button. This is the point that we would like to make you aware of, okay, is that you need to be very, very careful about doing an integration, and you really shouldn't do it until you have a bit of an understanding of exactly how the process will work. All right, because once it's been done, all right, if there have been any errors created due to the way that the integration was done, then it becomes a little bit of a mess to clean up. All right, and we really recommend that you have a bit more of an understanding before you try to do it. All right, very simply because we're talking about two separate apps, all right, and workshop software being one, your accounting system being the other. And what will happen is that if you have data in your accounting system and you have data in workshop software, then when you synchronize the two of them together, all right, by doing the integration, what will happen is the data from one system will go into the other system. So if you have Bill Blogs, for example, as a customer in workshop software, and you also have Bill Blogs in your accounting system because you were using your accounting system prior to workshop software, then what will happen is you will end up with two Bill Blogses. All right. And this is something that you really, really would like to avoid having happen. All right. As cleaning it up will actually be quite a laborious process. So we ask you to please be very, very careful about what you're doing. Please get in touch with us or read the help guides and resources on integrating accounting systems so that you get a good understanding of how that process should work. The next thing I'd like to do is talk to you very briefly about your automotive integrations. One of the key features of workshop software is that there are an awful lot of aftermarket suppliers who actually integrate with workshop software. And the purpose of the integration is simply that you can create a customer invoice in workshop software, and then you can go to your primary automotive supplier, like maybe Repco or Burson or Ashdown Ingram, Napa, HSY, for example. And what you'll be able to do is directly from the customer invoice, you can go into the portal for that particular supplier, right? Like in the case of Repco, that would be Navigator Pro. In the case of Burson, it would be Easy Parts. In relation to Ashdown Ingram, that would be Quantum Pro. And what you can do is go directly into the portal and pick the parts that you need for the particular job that you're working on and drop those parts directly into the customer's invoice. Right? That is a very, very time-saving and very strong functionality that's within workshop software, which helps you save time and money and effort in terms of finding the right parts for jobs and making the whole process of running your workshop much simpler. All right. There are also a lot of other integrations, all right, such as Vehicle Visuals and VV Garage. Relay Assist relate more to the roadside assistance within Australia. Same thing for AMS Rewards, etc. All right. So the capabilities of workshop software in terms of making your workshop much more functional and much more efficient are very, very easily realized. Right. That brings us to the end of this first video. All right. So we thank you very much for listening to that. What we would like to ask you to do is at the end of watching the first series of videos, you'll be sent a questionnaire. And the questionnaire will relate directly to the things which I've discussed in this particular video and in the ensuing videos. And if you could please send that to us, right, that gives us a very good insight into what level of knowledge you've picked up from watching the videos and what you're comfortable with in terms of the usage of workshop software. All right, so thank you again for watching the video, and please stay tuned for the next one.